I feel like fear definitely kills a lot of dreams. You're scared of what's going to happen, what's going to be tomorrow. And that's just all about being an entrepreneur. You have to let go of that fear. And I still have fear for a lot of things, right? And sometimes I try to even rely on God to answer those things to me and not my own understanding. But as long as I know that regardless, we're going to win, right? Shake that thing off your shoulder and just keep it moving.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the More Than a Side Hustle podcast. My name is Anthony.
And I'm Janoka.
And we are your hosts. And our goal is to help 9-to-5ers create more impact, income, and influence outside their jobs. And today is going to be no different.
Before we get started, I want to thank you for joining us for another week. Please make sure you're sharing, subscribing, leaving a review, all of the above.
So, yes, we'll be talking to Rose, founder and owner of Rose Style Studio. And Rose, we are excited to have you. Thank you for being here.
Yes, I'm super excited.
So, Rose has been, I saw your name featured in, like, Oprah's name, Essence, Vogue. Like, what was the biggest client you serviced? Or where's the biggest feature your name has been attached to?
Attached to would probably, I have to think about that one. Essence magazine, I feel like that was really big because it's kind of connected to us and being Black. So I loved everything about that. It was for a client who had a wedding, and her wedding went viral. And just like an everyday woman, and it just went viral by the way she designed it, her dresses, and to be a part of like that hair portion of it was amazing. And then when it comes to clientele, Michelle Williams. Yeah.
I don't think I knew you did.
Yeah, she like always comes to Dallas, gets style photo shoots. So being a part of that project was like on the phone. Who? Like I wasn't sure of the names. Like everyone has so many common names.
Yeah.
I had to Google
that's a
it.
common name.
Yeah, it's a very common name. So I had to Google it. And I was like, okay. And then being in the same room, I was like, wow.
How did she get your number?
Yeah.
I always worked with her stylist here in Dallas, and he was like looking for hairstyles. He's like, let's call Rose. And so Jason, Jay Bolin. So he was like, okay, Rose, I've worked with you a couple of times. I love your work. Let's do it. He didn't even tell me who it was. He was just like, are you available this day? And I'm like, yeah, I'm available. Let's go. Yeah. And then at the end of the call, he's like, yeah, we're going to be with Michelle Williams. And I was like, oh, okay. And I got off the phone like, did I hear that right? So when I literally like Googled it the next day, whenever we came in, I was like looking at her like, dang, I would literally listen to your songs.
Right.
And it was just, everything about it was just amazing.
How was it? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to ask, how long were you in business before that happened?
Oh, that was probably the year before COVID hit. So maybe 2019.
Okay.
So 2 years. I found my business 2017.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
2 years and you're doing celebrities here?
Yeah.
That's fast.
Yeah.
That was due to connections.
That was due to connections. Okay. Yeah, connections and like packaging, presenting yourself well. I feel like those two correlated really good.
And did you have something? And I know that you also do here for the Dallas cheerleaders.
Yes.
Cheerleaders.
Yes.
So how do you get into that?
Yes. It's a big deal. And I didn't see how big it was until I got into it. Because we all have seen the cheerleaders making the team, the show, right? I watched it from a child, middle school, high school.
Wait, the show
on CMT. Yeah, it's been like...
I only just saw it like 2 years
Yeah, no, it's like maybe 16 seasons. It's been going for like... And every year they do it, so that's like over 16 years. And they literally, if you watch the first one, you'll see the difference with like fashion, like how we used to dress in the 2000s till now. So it was a thing where they all have their own, I would say, maybe partners who they go to for different things. So the cheerleaders, they really invest really well in their cheerleaders with more than just the skill set and the dance and the education, but also their appearance. So they have a salon, or if it's beauty, if it's dental, facial, all that stuff that go into making sure these girls are in tip-top shape. So they were looking for another stylist to focus more on textured hair. And
because there's two Black cheerleaders.
Yes. No, there's only two. And every time I watched the show, it was one or two. Yeah. So when I joined, it was 7.
Okay. Oh,
it was 7. So prior to that, they were looking for someone who specialized in textured hair.
And that means Black people hair?
And that's Black people hair. Anyone? Yes. Coarse hair. Someone who like how you just said, You love wearing natural hair, but so much work.
So much work. Yeah.
And if you're working out, you know that you're gonna have to redo your style the next day.
Yeah.
So if you think about now, dancing cheer is like a workout. Yeah. You're practicing 4 hours a day, and then you're performing on a Sunday in the middle of the stadium. You can't wear your hair like that. Yeah. It's beautiful, but it's going to start reverting. You're going to start worrying about, oh my God.
It's like a puff.
Exactly. It doesn't matter what's happening. Humidity is going to fight, and they're going to win. So protective styles are the best thing. So they're always looking for someone who makes sure they're game day ready, but also in the best way. And so when they did their research, when they came to me, they said 3 people actually recommended me. And I had no idea. And when I spoke to the director, she was like, yeah, we've been watching your page for over 6 months. And I was like, wow, I had no idea. Yeah. But the fact that they were watching me and they knows how consistent it was, they were like, okay, we want you to come on board. This is what we're looking for, and I know you can execute it. And then we had the conversation. The first year, it was like 7 girls. So now I just signed for year 4. Oh. Yeah, and now it's still been consistent to like 7, went to 8, went to 9. And now I think we're at 7. So we're about to go into a new season. So who knows? How many tryouts are about to start. So it really depends on who their girls are going to be. And then they even want me to come in during trials to see the girls because I'm able to still be like, okay, yeah, we can work with this, or yeah, this has potential. Let's not cancel this person out because you have talent. It's the full package. It's a full package. Okay. They look at more than just talent because it's a full package. Like you're dancing, they interview them, they do so many different like steps. So why not have someone who's going to look at them and be like, yeah, she has a talent, but yeah, we could do something with this and not cancel them out.
Wow, look at that. Who knew all that went into it?
Yeah.
That's great. So there's obviously cheerleaders in every single state and a couple of them in different states. How does somebody even get into something like this? They came to you, obviously.
Yeah.
But anybody's listening to this podcast, they're trying to get to that level. How do you even get there?
To be
recognized or noticed by them or any big Cowboys are right. Let's say the Miami team.
Yeah.
Team in America.
Yeah, and that's what I say. I didn't realize it until I walked into it. I'm not really a sports fan.
But you live in Dallas, right?
But that's the thing. I'm not really like, ooh, okay, that's my team. Yeah. I'll watch it for entertainment, but I'm not rooting for them. And, win or lose, I'm like, okay, well, let's keep it moving. So for that to come about, I already knew in my mind, and I already written down my goals that I loved everything I'm doing. We'll probably dive more into like how everything started. But I always knew that when you start a business, you always have to plan like an exit, right? Or you're going to be running a hamster wheel. So I already knew that if I'm going to jump into this and be a service provider with my everyday women, I already knew that so I'm not running a hamster wheel, we need to go either corporate or we need to go in a way where we can still be established and recognized in a different way because that also sets a different tone, the structure, on how everything goes together. So I didn't even know I was going to sign up for that. That was something that was just written down and it was going to be maybe however it came about. Okay. But the fact that they came to me and was like, we were looking for someone. Actually, out of the 3 people, it was one of them who I knew.
I was going to say, yes. Did they ever tell you who recommended
Yes, I recognized one only because she was line sisters with my sister. So they went to college together. And she obviously danced on the team, and she was like her link. So it happened to be that she would always love my sister's hair. And she would be like, well, I love where you get your hair done, it's your sister, but I'm designated to go here.
Got it.
Right? Okay. So there would be times she would come to me and get her hair done, but then at the same time it's like, okay, something needs to shake. Like, how do we make sure that you are with the team so then now it's available for everyone? So she was one of the people who put the word out there. I don't know the other 2 to this day. Okay. But the fact that it was 2 other people who still saw the potential in my work, then it all kind of correlated. So knowing the right people definitely helps. It definitely helps. But also being able to like be ready so you don't have to get ready. Right. So when that time comes, you already know how to execute yourself.
Be ready so you don't have to get ready. I said it. And my job, I used to say that all the time.
Yeah.
Like, Anthony, when's the promotion coming? When's the raise coming? It's coming. As soon as you're ready, it will be there
It
for
will be
you.
there, yes.
So a lot of people think that, all right, I'm going to wait until I get there to start performing. You're like, no, we're performing before we even arrive.
Correct. And it's just like what we see now in this world. I was literally listening to one of y'all's episode about trendiness of entrepreneurship. And I didn't even know Google had that thing where you can see like when trends pop up. And I was like, you know what? We live in such this world and social media where everyone wants to like hit that.
Right away.
You hit it right away.
Yeah.
But then you have to realize if you were to hit that today, can you even flow? Do you even have the system to keep it on the next day? You don't want to be sold out.
Yeah.
You don't want people to be like, oh, I can't even get a hold of no one. I'm emailing. There's so many different systems that if you don't even set those up, you're not even ready for if you went viral. Right? So it's like all the stuff you're doing now has to make sense. And I remember my accountant always told me, like, run your business like you're making $1 million. Right, put the right things in place because when that time comes, you'll be happy that you'll be ready instead of be like scratching and trying to figure out what do I do here and there. Right. Yeah.
So, so we will go back to where you started. So you started in 2017. So that's what 6 years in now.
Yeah.
So what made you? What were you doing before? What made you jump into here?
Yeah. So it's actually a very funny story. I was when I got into college, I was a nursing major. Yeah, grew up in a family of predominantly medical, everyone in the medical field. And that just seemed like the right thing to do because it was structured. It wasn't going anywhere. COVID just happened, so who had jobs? Essential workers, everyone in the healthcare. Everyone gets sick. So I always feel like the only people who really have a job, if anything was to tank, healthcare workers and chefs. Everyone got to eat.
That's true.
I never thought about chefs.
Yeah, everyone got to eat. And people get sick. Yeah. So that's a good essential job. Look who's open restaurants when they turned everything to pickups.
Yeah.
They did so well that now they don't even care about people coming in.
Yeah.
Right? So when I jumped into nursing, it was because I already had knowledge of that. You know, we think of generational. Like if your parents are doing something, you'll walk into something.
So both your parents are in...
Both in health. Dad, PT, mom's nurse.
Your last name, so you're Nigerian?
Yes, Nigerian.
We definitely gonna get into what they said about believing that.
Exactly.
We know, we know a bit about how...
Oh, yeah. They don't play. Yeah. There's like, this is what needs to happen. And they'll break it down to like why they say that. A long time I'm like, okay, do we have to do health? Because if it wasn't health, even when I was...
law?
Yeah. Yeah. My dad always told me, like, even when I try to move away from health, and I was like, yeah, I think I want to start my business. He was like, go take your LSAT. And I was like, why? He's like,
how do we get from health to LSAT?
No, because he said, you know how to negotiate, Rose. You know how to talk. You know how to like maneuver. I'm like, that's business. He's like, no, you need to move over here. But I think it's the business type of like, it's up and down. And it's like, you don't want to worry, right? So if it was health, it's like stable. I dived into that. You know, I really liked certain things with science, but it just didn't come easy. Like it was actually really hard. And I would see everyone around me just getting into schools and passing their exams with flying colors. And I'm like, why am I struggling? Like, there's a certain struggle, but not like this.
Science is hard.
Science is hard.
I was good at math, but science was not me.
I only liked micro. Microbiology was my favorite because it was like seeing what could happen if you do this. But everything else, I was like, okay, y'all, this is crazy. And so it wasn't till maybe my last year, my junior year, is when I realized that I didn't want to do nursing anymore. And I just...
And then you were going to pick your major.
Oh, yeah, because nursing school is literally your prereqs, your freshman, sophomore, and then your junior and senior, you're in nursing school, it's 2 years, and then you're out. So now I haven't even gone to nursing school because now I'm a third year, and it's like, you should already be in there. I'm realizing that I don't want to do it. So I literally took a whole year off. And I literally told my mom and my dad,
Senior
like...
year of high school?
College.
College.
Yeah, so I told him, I was like, I don't want to continue going this path, but I don't know what I want to do.
Wait a minute. You told your Nigerian parents.
Yeah.
Number one.
After 3 years of paying for school.
Yes.
3 years of school. I'm not going to go to nursing school. And I'm also not going to finish right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I'm doing.
And I don't know what I'm doing. But the thing about having Nigerian parents is like, you need to have a plan A, B, C, D.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I did. So I told them this, but the next question was like, so what do you want to do? Yeah. So I was like, okay, let me tell y'all. I would tell them, I think I want to do business. And that word think already is like, oh, she don't even know what she wants to do. So already I said, I think I want to do business. I don't know what type of business. Okay. But then I think I want to do healthcare. But when I dived into healthcare, I thought of the business side of it. Like, okay, maybe I can start being like a RN, BSN, I working on the floor. But then I started opening my eyes like, okay, there's CRNAs. There's this. I know a CRNA who opened a agency, and they had other CRNAs in it, work for them. So I was like, okay, that's business. Yeah. So when I took the year off, I literally told my parents, let me move back home and let me just not be paying rent in college, going to school. Let me just figure out what I want to do. So within that year off, I was still doing hair because hair was always my staple from high school.
Okay, so you were always doing.
I was always doing hair. Yeah, I was.
Come to you.
Yeah, my parents' living room. Yeah, like $20.
For what?
For like sewing.
Oh.
Yeah, even in college it was maybe like $70.
Okay.
And in college that's high. Exactly. So maybe like 50, 70 depending on it for the longest time because that was like my bread and butter.
Yeah.
So like you're going to college, you don't want to work on campus, you don't want to work in the mall, do hair. So in my apartment I'll do hair. In my parents' house I was doing hair. So I said, let me move back home. I could still do hair, but let me work as a medical assistant to see if I want to do nursing. And that's when they were like, okay. And I moved back home, found like a pain management clinic and worked as a medical assistant. And that's like maybe taking IVs, blood pressure, just seeing what I like to be in that realm. Yeah. I think that opened my eyes like, I really don't want to do this. And I really like everything about hair because I was working 9 to 5 as a medical assistant and then coming home working 5 to midnight doing hair. Oh, wow. And then I realized.
How long did you do that?
I did that for a year. I told myself I'm going to give myself a year and do that and see what I like. And when I figured that out, I was like, okay, let me go back to college and finish with business.
Oh, so you went back.
So I went. So I couldn't just. Yeah, you can't just drop out. You gotta get some degree. Yeah.
You still gotta, even if you're doing business, you gotta get a degree.
You gotta get a degree. It could be anything. You gotta do something. So I went back and finished with that. And
a lot of people never went back.
Yeah, and when I think about it, my graduating class was supposed to be 2014. I didn't finish till 2017. So now it seems like I've been in college for a long time. And
but you have to start over.
You have to start all over when you think about it. And now we're in a place where it's like, oh, you're starting all over? Okay, no problem. Then it was like, oh, she don't even know what she wants to do. Oh, she's still in college. Oh, she ain't got her degree. I heard all of it. But I was still like, at least I'm doing what I want to do. And I'm tapping into it now because at the end of the day, like, I'm only 24. When you think about it, everyone's graduating at 21, 22. So now I'm 24 trying to figure it out. Like, okay, this is what I want to do. We're about to walk into this new era and get it. And then that's when I went and got a corporate job in marketing because that was like my minor into it. Was marketing. Okay. And then I was just straight into that.
I guess my question would be, what made you even say, like, I need to get business and marketing savvy before I continue on in? Because some people would think I just need to get certified in what you need for here.
Yes. Oh, that's a really good question. That's a really good question, and I don't want to lie. I don't want to lie.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't want to lie. So, that's a good question because no one in my family has done business. I have some relatives that started some businesses, but I'm the only one I really know who's had a very successful business, and I'm living off of it for the past 6 years, right? So, everything was kind of figuring it out. I really do think it was my internships. I really did a lot of internships leaving college, and they were free, and I really hated them. And I remember my brother-in-law, he kept telling me, Rose, even if it's free, you're going to learn more with this than trying to work at a big company. And there's companies here in Dallas that I really wanted to work with. And I was like, oh, my God. Like the Richards Group. They're off 75, and they're a big marketing company. They do commercials and stuff for Chick-fil-A, Ford, all these places. When I did my research, I was like, oh, yeah, that's where I need to be. Their building is amazing, right next to downtown. That's where I need to go. And I would apply for these internships, and I wouldn't get it. I would even go and tour and do like a boot camp, and I'll be like, yeah, I need to be here. And they'll be like, yeah, well, let's do this before we get into here. So the internships that worked was either at like a jiu-jitsu company, and it was free, but being in there, I learned so much. And this guy had a whole jiu-jitsu, and I was helping him with just the social media and kind of running it, and just those little parts was like, oh, you need structure.
So So what structure did you go in with? So you went to jiu-jitsu. What was the structure that he's like,
the first structure,
I want to work here?
No, the first structure with him.
Yeah, like he's like, I want to help you out in business.
No, I applied and I think the position was marketing because I already had marketing. So he was like, I'm looking for marketing minor, right? So when I went in there, this was before social media. This was before Instagram, TikTok. Before it was what it is. Yeah, it was way before what it is. All you did was I was helping him with maybe Facebook pages and meetup.com. That was it. Yeah. Yeah. Because this is where you find networking things. That was even before Eventbrite. Right? Okay. So he needed someone to help him. Like he's probably doing it all, but he needs someone to focus on that so he can worry about the people coming in to take the classes. Right. Because I would be there and see people sign up to get classes. But while I was there helping him with that, I would ask him like, hey, so how did you get these people? And he'd be like, well, Facebook pages. I would put in the Facebook page, maybe set it up how I need to. People will find it, search it, Google, and that's how people would come to the facility. I used a lot. Everything I was learning there, I was taking my own notes. Okay. So I was like, okay, structure. I need to figure out marketing, word of mouth, how to pass out cards. Everything we were doing was like the bottom of what we do now, right? And so doing that, I would even ask him questions like, what books would you have me read? And he'd be like, oh, you need to read this book. And he'll give me a book. The first book was How to Win. It's like how to learn or understand people from Dale Carnegie.
Win friends.
How to win, influence people. Correct. I read that book.
That book is here. Yeah, we definitely have.
Yes. I read that book maybe 6 years ago. Yeah. And reading it, I was like, okay, you really get to be comfortable around different people because especially if you don't know how to engage with people, it may be very uncomfortable. And you have to realize, like, everybody's people. It doesn't matter where they're here or they're here. And so when he gave me that book, I was like, okay, let me read that. Because when you're in business, it's all about getting to know people, just talking, everything's selling points.
So he was a low-key mentor.
He was low-key without knowing it. Without knowing it. And he probably didn't even know it. And I was only there for maybe a few months.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You learned so much.
Yeah, I learned so much. I was there for a few months in college. It was in Fort Worth. I went to UTA. So driving from Arlington to Fort Worth was real quick. Oh. Yeah, and then I just finished college, and then as soon as I finished, I was still not thinking about doing hair because I really didn't think you can be successful doing hair. I really didn't think you can, to be quite honest, because when I see or hear about like people in the beauty industry, they're just doing it as a hustle. Mm-hmm. No one has turned it into a profitable business. And when I say profitable, we make a lot of money every month. But are you putting it in, or what are you taking home? Mm-hmm. Are you able to buy a house? Mm-hmm. Are you able to buy a car? Are you investing in it? That's profitable because now you have a livelihood. Right. Everyone I know was like, oh, we just doing this here. Everyone leaves. Like, it's just like a hustle. And that's what I was doing in college. It was a hustle. So when I knew I wanted to make it to a business and it could be profitable, that's where the structure had to come in.
Right. So that was 2017.
That was 2017 is when I was working. It was like half of it. The first half of 2017, I went and found another, I graduated and I needed a job. So I was a marketing assistant.
This is a full-time job?
This is a full-time job.
This is like your first real job.
This was my first real job. And it was a guy who was a business coach. So I don't know if you heard of Action Coach.
Sounds familiar.
They help small and medium businesses grow. I never knew that. It's so crazy how everything kind of lines up. It really does. So the guy who I worked for, he wanted me just in the marketing aspect to help reach out to people. So not even to learn.
Get into the coaching program.
To get into the coaching program to help him.
Yeah.
I was not even learning anything. I wasn't even with him. He literally got me an office space and I was just there. He literally, it was a small business. So he literally just found an office space for me to have my laptop to do work just so I wouldn't do it virtual because remote wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So everybody needed someone to go somewhere. So he was just paying for a business space somewhere in Dallas. I'll report there, tell him I'm clocked in with my laptop and this is what I need to do. And then he would go meet with other businesses to talk to them. So I'll do cold calling. I would literally sign up making events on meetup.com. I'll go to the Tower Club to represent his business in front of other businesses like Fast Signs and all these places. And people would be like, oh, so what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm marketing for Action Coach. And he would be like, oh, but there has to be more to you. I remember someone asked me, there has to be more to you. I'm like, well, I do hair.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, okay.
I don't want to bounce over that. You
Yeah.
said you were cold calling, which is a hard skill to do.
And people hang up.
You were setting up events online in
Yes.
the early days, and you were going out and doing networking events.
Correct.
So when they're saying there's more to you, that's actually a lot in itself.
It's a lot in
itself. A lot of skills there, I would say.
Exactly, a lot of skills. And I was still taking my notes or mental notes. So I was like, okay, it's really teaching you how to go out and get it yourself, how to bring your business out to the forefront. Because obviously, as we said, social media wasn't a thing. So now we're really realizing that we have to literally we have to work to get people. And I think that's, after doing that full time, I was still doing hair 5 to 9 every day. So as I was working for him, I'll come home and a client's there and I'm like working.
At your house?
Yes. So now I'm in my apartment, life after college. Yeah. And I think right after that is when everything kind of shifted. It's when I used those skills and I was like, let me use it to my advantage. And that was a moment where there was a seminar coming to Dallas. And I always loved going to seminars because I would go to his things. I'm like, let me go and, learn something. Exactly. So I would go to a lot of women empowerment events, a lot of like church conferences, things that had substance because you would meet like-minded individuals there. And I would go literally by myself because I didn't have anyone to go with me at times. And I knew that if I'm going to go to these events, there's someone on the panel who needs their hair done. So let me reach out in the right way. So he would have me professionally call, do all this stuff. So I would go out of my way and find their PR email. I would even DM them because now Instagram's coming in. I already made an Instagram just at 2017. Like, okay, let me make this Instagram, put some work here. I'm still doing it out of my home. And let me put myself out there. So I would sign up, hi, this is my name. I actually even found the email the other day. And I was like, your basic, hey, my name is Rosemary. I specialize in XYZ. I see you're coming into town for this day at this event. I would love to service you. Let me know how I can help. And I just shoot my shot like that. And 2 of the women from the panel reached out. And one said no. The other one was like, yeah, I would love to. And I even DM'd them too. Because I was like, if you catch this DM, please, email. I sent an email as well. So one of them saw the DM over the email. I was like, oh, I did see the email. The other one saw the email, but her team responded back and was like, oh, we're not looking for anyone at this time. We're XYZ. I said, okay, no problem. And so when I finally was able to go to the seminars, I was already attending. I already bought a ticket. Yeah. But now I have to get off work on a Friday. Seminars are what? Friday, Saturday events. I get up Friday at 5. I had to hurry up and get to the hotel to do the hair. But let's let this know that I didn't even have the supplies. Okay, I was just like, I'm just shooting my shot. Yes, I wasn't even like licensed at the time.
I was gonna ask about that. Like,
no, I wasn't. I was just doing hair.
Okay,
I was just, to be completely transparent, I was just doing hair. Yeah. Right. So now I'm just doing hair. And I'm going to the beauty supply store, buying hot comb, buying hair tracks, and buying glue, and buying oil, buying everything I need. You don't know what they got. I don't know what they got. I just gonna bring what I need in a suitcase, and we're gonna just go. But it's all about packaging yourself. Yeah. I already knew that you had to be presentable, right? If you're going to an interview, you're wearing a suit. If you're working on set, you're wearing black, presentable. And I just went up there, did the hair. She loved it. She's like, come back tomorrow. We're having our day 2. I said, okay. These are all unpaid.
So I was going to ask, are you doing
this
free?
All free. All free. Okay. I said, okay, Saturday comes. I'm off, obviously, on Saturdays. Yeah. I do her hair again. And then comes in the second woman who needed to get her hair done. Who said no. So they're having, their friends are giving each other hugs. Oh, my God, awesome. And then she looks at me. She's like, oh, my God, are you on hair team? And I'm like, in my head, girl, I emailed you.
Well, I am now.
I am now. So even the girl who I was doing her hair, she kind of nubbed me like, yeah, Rose is available. And so I was like, yeah, I can do your hair. And I did her hair. And it happened to be Yvonne Orji from Insecure, Molly. Yeah.
You know,
I was gonna say, who is that?
Yes.
I know Molly.
Yes, Molly.
And she's Nigerian too.
Okay.
We got the connection.
Yes. So the first girl was Stacey Ike.
I don't think I know.
Yes. So she is a TV host. So she does a lot of TV appearances, red carpets for Oprah Winfrey's channel. She started her own series. Does so many things. And I already knew she was gonna be the host for the event. So I was like, let me reach out to her because she obviously needs her hair done. And then I looked at the other panelists and I was like, okay, let me reach out to Yvonne Orji because she was going to be on the panel.
Did you know who she was at that time?
I didn't know any of them. No, I didn't know any of them.
Oh, okay.
I knew Yvonne because I've been to several Nigerian events that's like within the nation, and she came and she started as a comedian.
Yes.
So I would go to some of these events and she'd be the comedian for that show.
Got it.
So I already knew who she was, and I was like, oh, awesome. And this would be cool to your hair too, but it wasn't on any magnitude of like, oh my God, this could be great.
Right.
I was just putting it out there.
Shot.
Yeah. So now fast forward to that Saturday, I already did Stacey's hair Friday. Come Saturday, I did Stacey's hair again. Yvonne comes in. They're friends. They give each other hugs. She's like, oh, you're doing hair? I said, yes. So now me and her talking, and she's like, oh, you're Nigerian? Now we start connecting. She's like, oh my God, from where? What state? We're all, okay, gisting, right? Gisting's like communicating. Yeah. So we're all having these conversations, and then as soon as we're done, she has to get on stage, and everything's done. I didn't even think about sharing my info. I didn't think about nothing. I was just in the moment. Like, I did your hair. This was awesome. We call it a day. Yeah. So I got to the conference, and I'm attending like how we're sitting right now, and my phone's going off. I don't know what's going on, but I look, and it happened to be that Yvonne found my Instagram through someone, and I think they had an intermission, and some girl stopped me and was like, hey, you did Yvonne's hair. She was trying to find your information, but we gave it to her. Great job, girl, and walks away. I go, and I see that she's tagged it, and she's posting in real time, and she tagged the new Instagram page I just made. So now everyone's following. Everyone's like, ooh, your hair, all this stuff. Friends and family is like, wait, Rose, when did this happen? And I'm just like, I didn't say nothing. I didn't know what was going to happen. And so it just turned to this big thing. And so after all that event was done, me and Stacey formed a great friendship. I remember before she went back to, they both live in LA. So before she even went back to LA, she was like, let's go to brunch, let's eat. And then she let me know, like, hey, I really want you to do my hair for my birthday. I have a birthday, and this was September, right? So the first half of the year, as we talked about, was a lot like still working, corporate, marketing, all that stuff. This is the second half of the year. So this is September. She told me my birthday is coming up in October. I really want you to do my hair. I'm doing a photo shoot, all that great stuff. Can you come with me for a week? I was thinking, okay, but I got a job. Yeah. So how am I supposed to do this? So I was like, yeah, no problem. And then I sat back at home and I was like, ooh, what am I supposed to do? So I literally called my job and I told him, hey, can I have this week off? You know, it's a small business. I'm thinking like, maybe he'll give me a week off, right? I'm like, can I have a week off? He was like, yeah, no problem. You're probably busy with so many other things. I was like, yeah, I am. And we hang up, and then like a few hours go by, and I'm like, let's just run off faith. So I call him back. I said, actually, today's my last day. Because I knew if I was to go and do this,
it would change.
It could change a lot.
Hold on. If you don't mind me asking, how much were they paying you to leave your job at that point?
Nothing.
That was just free.
That was free.
He was like, I'm gonna just.
She just told me to come to LA, and she was only gonna pay for my flight.
Flight and hotel.
And flight and hotel. I even stayed with a friend. I was in LA. My friend lived in LA.
Oh, so you were being nice. You're like,
oh yeah, I was like, don't even worry, you don't have to pay for me. So I called my friend, like, hey girl, I'm being in LA. Can I come stay with you? She was like, yeah, girl, come stay with me. And that's literally, she just paid for my flight. And I still had to go to Sally's, buy all the stuff I needed. She wasn't paying me.
Oh, yeah.
And I still went out there, but I already knew.
You just felt something?
I just felt something. Something told me, like, this could be good. And if you keep relying on this job, it's not going to let you reach your full potential, right? Because there's so much potential right here.
But how do you know that?
Yeah. How do you trust
you don't know.
You got people listening, they're like, I would love to do that.
You don't know. It's a risk. And now I'm realizing 6 years into entrepreneurship, everything's a risk. Yes. You have to just, like, jump, and if you sink or float, and if you sink, you better learn how to swim. Literally, everything is a risk. So I literally took a biggest risk because I literally had the biggest risk because I didn't know when my next meal was going to be, but I didn't even think I even saved. It was just all that. But I was really good at saving only because of research. So I knew when I took that year off for college, I told myself, if I'm going to move out of my parents' house, I want to be able to have at least 6 months to 1 year of rent before I go back to school to finish it. So, because I didn't want to rely on them on anything. Right. So even when I lived in my parents' house for a year, I still saved up 6 months
a year.
Have
some money.
Yes.
Okay.
So I can now be okay. So even life after college, I had money and I wasn't like feeling like, okay, what's going on here? And that's just off of public knowledge, right? Yeah. Like, how much do you save? What's going on? Yeah. You know, it's maybe it wasn't the most of what we see now, but it's something that you can live within your means. Right.
So you get to LA for free.
Mm-hmm.
Not
for
even
free.
Paid for hotel, no food, just a flight.
Just a flight.
And
vibes.
Yeah.
Literally. You're in LA. Why don't you go?
You get there, and I don't know why she needed you week. She must have had multiple events.
Yeah, no, I think it was just no, it was only like, okay, the photo shoot was maybe I think on a Wednesday, and the event was on a Saturday, so it wasn't point of coming you back and forth. So I was like, well, I can just come.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you did that, and then was that like the changing point?
That was a changing point. I knew when I got back home, I had to be serious. That was the moment where I filed my LLC. So I knew that I needed to get an LLC. I needed to put everything in a entity. I need to put everything into a business, right? And then I was like, we had to create even more structure. If we're allowing people to book with me, I think I was using StyleC at the time. StyleC is really good because, it allows beauty professionals, or let's say clients or consumers, to find beauty professionals through zip code. So if you don't, because once again, social media wasn't a thing. If you don't have that, people just type their zip code and they'll find whoever's around on Google, right? And StyleC is still here till today, that people just type in your zip code and they'll find who's around them. So I was like, okay, well, let me continue to push more of my StyleC, let people find me, take whatever services I can, but be a little bit more serious. I started up doing maybe $30 sew-ins, doing $50 sew-ins, maybe move to $70. At that moment, I was like, okay, this is our living. We need to increase it to $100. Even that $100 scared a lot of people, but at the end of the day, and it scared me. So I was like, oh, am I going to lose everyone who used to come to me? I think my biggest increase was a $20 increase at the time. It was like from $80 to $100. And people got mad. They're like, oh my gosh, like friends and family. They're like, clients, wait, you going to $100? No, I can't afford that.
The funny thing is, I think like someone's in New York was always that 140,
correct.
120. That
yeah,
was like base rate.
Base
now,
rate.
I don't know what it is now, but it always was that. So the fact that you were going to 80 to 100.
Yeah.
But people are always going to complain.
People are always going to complain. That's one thing I'm realizing. Everyone's always going to complain. It's like whichever fits into how you want. Even at that time, I was moving even to Dallas, and then you have people like, oh, she probably increased it so for her lifestyle, and it's like they don't understand the other end of business. Like, you don't even take 100. If I'm charging 100, I don't even take 100. Like $7 may go into this, $10 might go into this. Now I'm really only keeping $50, and then we still have rent. We still got this. We still have car notes, insurance. So all the supplies. And I was learning that very young. Like, okay, I could be charging $100, but I'm not even taking $100. I'm only taking little bits. But how can I even explain that to friends, family, or even people? They don't care, So it's just something you have to eat up and be like, at the end of the day, you're going to disappoint people, but you have to make the best choice for you.
So once again, you were like going on faith.
Everything was off faith.
Yeah, most of your
it's off faith. You have to you have to go with it with faith, because you can't consult with someone because they're going to tell you what makes sense for them. Yeah. They don't know what you're going through. They don't know that you need to be able to take care of X, Y, Z. So you're going to run off faith. And I think that faith and intuition kind of goes together. You will know in your gut, like, this is the right move I need to make, or this is off. Right. Go ahead.
And throughout your journey, what has been a challenge so far? Like, has there been roadblocks that you feel so far? Or
a lot of roadblocks. I feel like the more I elevate, the learning curve definitely grows, and I'm still learning new roadblocks that I didn't understand in the beginning stages. Okay. Yeah, so there's so
different
many
stages, different roadblocks.
Yeah, different stages, like even where I'm at now to in the beginning. Then my roadblock probably would have been how to keep clientele. How do I get like consistent people coming in? How do I able to pay my bills? Like, how does it make sense? That's how I realized I needed structure in some sort. Right? Or I need to be able to be professional. I feel like being professional just in general will take you very far. And that all alone I need to get that. And I already knew that was in me. I'm a very professional person in general. So I already knew that, okay, well, it can work. So when I get into situations, it's never anything terrible because the way I carry myself and the way I handle it. I know how to troubleshoot, right? And I think that even goes into that mindset of like the entrepreneurship, that definition is like, it's almost like everybody wants to be in that pool, but it has to be in you. You have to know how to troubleshoot on the fly. You need to know how to be organized. You need to know how to do all this. You may have to learn a little tips and tricks here and there on how to get it together, but at the same time, it's like some people just have it in them. It's not by luck, right? And there's certain things that exercise it to gain that strength. So I feel like all those learning things that we just talked about was like bringing that out of me, right? Little by little. Even might be life lessons that my parents have taught me here and there, but I started being able to feed into that more and just running off faith. Like I see the potential here, let me feed off of that instead of running to do nursing.
Got it. Well, speaking about potential, your studio is beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And
very nice. I haven't made my way firsthand yet.
Yes.
We gotta get you down there. Well, I was looking at the social media and it's absolutely beautiful. What point? And it's a physical studio. It's a physical location,
Physical
which
salon.
we know
Salon,
is not the easy. Yes, a salon. I say studio.
Because
Yeah.
before you,
I go to the studio.
No,
You have to call it a
yes.
salon.
But I like calling it a studio.
Yeah.
you like that vibe?
I like that vibe. I like because back in the day you used to hear shop. I don't like shop.
You don't like shop.
I don't like shop.
Because
'Cause
before she was in the
beauty
salon,
shop.
suites,
Suites,
she was in
yes.
suites.
Yeah.
And so she upgraded to the studio.
Yeah.
So we got the beautiful studio. And you talk about and the salon, and we talk about going off of faith. At what point do you say this is working? Let me go invest in my business and myself at this level now because it's
'Cause we were
completely
talking about it
different.
last
Yes, it's very different. We were talking about it. I feel like as things grow, it pushes you to that. I'm big on outgrowing spaces and growing into a space. So I always start small so I can grow out of it. So everything I did, I grew out of it. From in my parents' house to my apartment to working in as soon as I finished school, went to cosmetology school, was in an open salon with just a booth. I was just in a booth with 2 drawers and a mirror. I grew out of that because I started adding new things into it. I wanted to start selling hair, selling products, giving my clients a certain type of experience. I couldn't really do that where I was at. It was great, but I knew that I wanted more. So then I grew into a suite. The suite was small. A lot of people were like, ooh, this is tiny. It was like smaller. It was very like smaller than this room, right? But I already knew I started growing out of it as things started to grow. So now it's like, okay, let's take it to the next level. And it sounds scary because I'm still wrapping my head 2 months in. It's been open for 2 months now, right?
Congratulations again.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm still wrapping my head around that till this moment of, girl, you just opened a whole
What was that feeling?
hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I man, it's crazy because I unlocked a whole different level of, I don't want to say responsibilities, but it's like good and bad, right? Because this is what I want. So I'm so excited. I already see the vision. I already know what I want to do. I already know how I want to like turn everything around. So it's exciting. When I'm done for my day, I literally just sit there. I'm literally just
Take it all in.
I'm taking it all in. I'm there
should.
for like 3 hours. My friend's like, hey, I see your location. We all share our locations for like safety measures, right? So they're like, girl, why are you still at the salon?
7 o'clock at night.
Right. And I'm like, I don't know. I was just sitting here. I drink
Thinking.
some wine. Music is bumping. You know, I'm doing some work. I enjoy being in the space. But now I have to remember, like, okay, girl, now you open this space. What do we need to do in the space? But I think what really made me open it was I really wanted to create, I feel like for us, when I say us, I think of like being Black in America, right? I feel like African American salons don't have what we're all looking for. Okay. I feel like we don't have, and I hate to say it, I feel like a lot of us are not professional. And I see that more and more often. I feel like we don't have the professionalism. We don't have where we allow people to come in and just really relax. Hair, all beauty services is a luxury at the end of the day. You can do it yourself. You really can. You can really do your lashes yourself. You can put strips on. You can do your hair yourself. You can do your nails yourself. You can do so many things by yourself. You can cut your own hair. I know a lot of people cut their own hair. But you see, at least you tried. Right?
I told my barber, like, yo, you got to do something online.
Right.
That's another
Really?
story.
Yes. See, it's like you can all do it yourself. But what makes it a luxury is because now you're finding someone else to do it for you because of convenience. Yep. So now, why are you inconvenience people when it's supposed to be convenience? You know, and everyone, and most of my clientele, as they're coming in, we are all bonding. We have connections. I have conversations with them. I know what they're going through. a lot of people in this, once you walk out of there, there's so much stress going on. There's so many responsibilities that one moment you come into there is like an hour of nothing. There's music, there's wine, there's conversation, there's no kids yelling. There's so many things. You're not thinking about school. You're not thinking about work. Some people don't even ask me to this day, can I see your Wi-Fi, Rose? And I literally up my Wi-Fi up. Like, I need the best one to get.
Some people may be working.
Yeah, we're in a remote life, right? Yeah. I need to amp it so 4 people can be on this Wi-Fi and the music streaming and my iPads and my phones. Yeah. And no one has asked me for the Wi-Fi. I think maybe 3 times I gave them the Wi-Fi password. Because people really want to just sit there and be relaxed and forget about everything else because you're experienced. You're pampering them, right? So I started realizing that from when I was fresh out of school in just a salon in a booth, I realized that, like, wow, people really step away for people to do their hair. Right. So how do I create this? And I can only do it by myself. Then things started to grow even more and more. That it was really hard for me to do it by myself. I was like, well, I need to open up a hair studio because then I'm able to train other stylists with the same model so then they can set themselves up for success. Because I wish I had that when I started in the hair game. I wish someone was to tell me, like, okay, this is where you're at. This is what you need to do. And I did have that, you know, in different areas of like, okay, this is how you do this. This is how you do hair like here, but you're still independent. Like, I have a friend that she's still a hairstylist still today. And just being in her salon, she would literally tell me like, no, Rose, can I show you something? Okay, let me show you this or do this. Everyone in the salon, we all piggyback off each other. But I feel like if you're fresh out of school or you're even maybe a little seasoned, you don't really have that. So
the support.
That's a really good point too. I don't want to forget my point.
Go ahead.
We're talking about professionalism and training and getting help.
Yeah.
Right now, you see a lot on social media about I gotta pre-wash my hair before I come and do my hair.
Hairstylist rules.
Before you do your hair. How do you navigate this world that people are used to, like this trash behavior? In my opinion, because my barber told me that I go crazy, but this behavior that is like, all right, you gotta do all these things before you come in my salon.
Yeah.
Or even do my nails and like the service provider industry.
I think it goes back to how I really truly feel like it goes back to the licensing department, TDLR. TDLR regulates basically how different businesses and service providers run their business through codes and regulations. They are watering it down every single month, every year.
Not year? Okay.
Yeah, like there's always a new like regulation change or revision here and there. And I'm tapping into it even more now. So like when I started doing hair, everyone's probably shocked like, dang, you weren't licensed because you really didn't need to be.
You probably know.
We all know a lot of people. They're good at hair. There's talent, right?
Yeah. So they're like, okay, until they take it seriously, then they go on to get the certificate.
Exactly.
Because you can't work in a salon without it, right?
You cannot.
Or you should not.
You shouldn't not. Yeah, you really shouldn't, right? And so already that's something holding you back. So some people don't even want to even tap into that because they can't really like do it. You don't have the license to be in there. And if you're if you have a license to be in there, you're seeing everything through standards. And let's go back to the license. That license already shows you so much back in school. So already when I went back to school to do Cosmo, I was learning. I already knew how to do hair. You know, the talent was there. But to learn everything down to shampooing, that's the first thing you learn. Like, you have to start with shampooing. That's the health of hair. So you can't even perform anything on anyone's hair unless their hair is clean. So even if someone was to come, like I had a client last week actually, she came in and she didn't book a shampoo. I give it as an option. Not like I don't want, if you book it, come in. But it is extra time. And there's a lot of people now who feel like, oh, I can just shampoo my hair and come in, right? But the option is there that you can have it. Because you can't think, okay, let me just add shampoo into the service because what people don't want it. Then you have people being like, well, I didn't need shampoo, so why am I paying for it? Yeah, so it's just easier. Just if you want shampoo, go ahead and add it. It makes extra time. We can keep the schedule running smooth, right? So I had a client come in first time, and she didn't book a shampoo. So I already assumed that she's going to come with her hair already shampooed. She said she already shampooed. As I went through it, it wasn't really as clean as it can be. And I asked her a question, how many times did you shampoo it? We know the standard in a profession that you need to shampoo at least 3 times, right? I asked her, she said once. I was like, ooh, it looks clean, but it's not. I could have easily went because we're running out of time. Yeah. But I was like, no, because now I don't even know what you use, the health of your hair. You're here telling me about why your hair is acting like this. How do we move forward? And now I'm about to start doing a whole new style on top of something I don't even know. Right. So I'd rather just take you to a shampoo bowl, shampoo your hair thoroughly, clean it up, educate you on it. And then that's 30 minutes. Bring you back. That's 30 minutes from shampoo and blow drying. Yeah. Right? So that's 15 minutes. That's not much time just to start that base compared to just getting her in and out. Right. So I feel like it really starts back to the education. And it starts back from people not getting their license. And it starts back from everybody wanting to be entrepreneur and just want to make money. And it starts back to it being a hustle. Yeah. So when it's a hustle, you're just trying to get money. And then you don't even know how things are done properly. And then it goes into everything rolling in, you know?
That has to be long.
I want to talk to the men for a second because my barber, my first time going there, he washed my hair, and I was like, why'd you wash my hair? He's like, actually, it's part of my job. I have to wash your hair. Or you have to come in with your hair washed. He's like, it actually makes my job easier when your hair is clean. I'm thinking also, it's dry, you could do it. He's like, no. It allows me to start from a clean base, a clean slate, and kind of give you the cut you need. So, man, your barber's not cutting it. If he's not washing your hair before he cuts it, change your barber. And that's why he charges the prices he charges.
Exactly. And even in school, we learned a little bit of barbering, right? Oh. We learned use a clipper, start at 0, 1, 2, 3, all that stuff, right? And as we are even learning on the field, on the floor, how to cut hair, we're still learning the educational part in our books. And we're learning scalp conditions. So even if you're now cutting someone's scalp and their scalp is dirty, you don't know what they have going on, and a lot of people don't even clean their tools. So now you're cutting someone's hair who you don't know where it's at. You can't really see what their scalp is because most of the time you can see a true scalp when it's wet. You can see if there's a ringworm. You can see if there's fungus. You can see so many different things, dry scalp, all that stuff. And you can use the right products for that. You may know not to use a certain blade because it may hurt them even more. So already, or a razor. So already you're not even doing that first step, the basic things, and now you're going to start doing their hair, and you might not even have time to clean it, and now you're taking it to the next person. So even when we did go to school, we learned a story of a woman who would just go and get her hair done, and she would get relaxers, right? And the relaxer, obviously, we get those chemical burns, right? The little blister. Then let's be honest, the chemical burn is the chemical burning your skin, right? And making a sore. And we would just put Vaseline, but it's really burning your scalp, like a 3rd-degree burn. And that mother took her daughter to get a relaxer and then got a sew-in. And the person she went to get the sew-in did not clean her tools right, and it got the girl an infection, and she got actually a brain infection. Jesus Christ. That serious. And I thought they were telling me the story to scare us. Right. And it was like, this can happen because now you're puncturing someone's scalp, it's going to the blood, it's going to their head, and now it's turning, we don't even know where that came from.
So there's like more to it.
There's more to it. And you have to think about it just as health professions. Right. Why they go to so many degrees of washing their hands and gearing up and stuff. You're still dealing with skin, hair, skin, and nails. Same thing as you to take it to certain things out of my education. I always say go to a trichologist. That's someone who specializes a little higher than my education of real scalp conditions. And if they can't get it, you go to a dermatologist. They'll really know with microscopes what's really going on. So we're right here where we can see if someone is stressed, if you're not eating right vegetables, drinking enough water, your iron is low. We see all that already in your scalp just from your hair. I could tell when a client's stressed. I'm like, you're losing your hair over here, girl. What's going on? Oh, work is happening here. You know, stuff like that. So if you're not even paying attention to that, I believe that's what's watering it down. And everybody, and plus everyone got talent. Right. So when you mix talent and no etiquette, business skills, it just does this. It's a disaster. It's like almost like not even controlled chaos.
It's like people that play street ball, like they're great at basketball.
Oh yeah,
but if they don't understand the business and actual game of basketball, they're not gonna get anywhere.
Exactly. And if someone sees them on the court, like, oh, this man got skills. Let's put him in the court here, and he don't want to listen. He don't want to learn the structure and all that stuff. They're like, man, you can go. They're gonna be like, you don't even want to learn how to be on a team. You don't want to learn to further yourself. You just know how to get it. It's the same. That's the hustle. That's the hustle, right?
And that's why the name of the podcast is More Than a Side Hustle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now, how do you continue to get that knowledge to stay up to date with the stuff that you're doing?
Yeah. So I had to get a mentor. I had to get a mentor. I feel like as you grow, you go into different learning curves, and at first it's cool with certain friend groups, right? You have your friends that, everyone's starting a business. You can talk to them there. Then when your business starts to grow, you may not be able to have those same conversations with them. So you find other, people that you can mesh very well with, and y'all become friends and that community. So I have my hair friends who I will talk to about certain things of like, hey, how do I work this formula? Or how do you structure your scheduling? Or how did you do this? Okay, let me go book a system. We all have these conversations. That's why it's good to be open to talk to people within your community, because everyone's helping each other, right? No one has time for that crab in the barrel mentality, because it's all mutually beneficial. I helped you, you helped me, and there's enough money to be made. And then as you continue to grow, you start realizing like, if certain people in your friend group or in your circle can't give you the answers, and you know that you got so many questions, it's like, who do you go to? Now it's a mentor, because that mentor is here. They have dealt with all of the roadblocks. They've dealt with all the difficulties, good and bad, right? So now you can ask them your questions. And I'm sure that they probably have a mentor, someone higher than them. So it's like, friend, you're great. Girl, you fine. But let me now go into this element. And now I had to go seek a mentor, because this person now helps me move into whole operations. And that's when I started selling products. When I started selling products, now I noticed that I got two streams of income. It was services, now we got products. At first, I used to think it was one. For the longest time, I was like, why am I stressed? It's like, oh, Rose, you got two different things going on. You can't put it as one. And all I know is how to do hair and keep the system. Now with products, that's a whole different ball. That's e-commerce. That's something that they don't even teach you in school. They don't. So now that mentor can teach me operations within that, to like, okay, Rose, this is how you need to do it. No, try this. It might seem scary, girl. You need to put a little money up. Are you saving? These are now real conversations that I'm like, okay, I had no idea. But I'm glad I'm asking these questions, right? Because now you're learning from someone else's mistakes. So it's always good to learn from someone who's a little bit higher than you, because then they can pour into you and then you can learn. And not saying you just learn from them and dip. There's even more things that they'll even keep sharing with you, and you'll even learn, even through conversation, right? And I feel like that set the bar to, it literally opened my mind like, okay, you're going in the right path, but this is how you need to look at it, like this. I definitely, since I opened the studio, I put some chairs in there. So I really want to bring a really talented stylist into the salon to not just like teach them the techniques and structure that I know, but also to create that like ambiance so other people who can't book with me, because sometimes it's really hard for people to book with me. Absolutely. It's really hard for people to book with me. So now they can trust someone else in the same salon, and we're doing everything by Rosemary standards. It's like, okay, I'm coming in here, I already know what to expect. The same way if you're to go to the ice cream shop and you're scooping this, you already know it's going to always taste like this. It's always going to be like this. And that can even help that person grow. So when they decide one day they want to go and be independent or whatever they want to do, right? They still have some type of structure in there. And then the next person can come in and we can keep things going. And I'm sure that they're going to come in there and want to be there for a very long time, because it's going to be such a great community, a great space, great clientele. I love my clients. They really don't give me a headache at all. And so to be able to show that to other stylists would be amazing, because people to this day always ask me before I open the studio, okay, how do I be a part of this? Are you hiring? Are you doing this? And I'm like, no. So now that I have the opportunity, we can push that in there, build that, and then continue to grow the salon at least.
That's a good point right there.
And working for yourself, I mean, you've been working for yourself for the past 6 years.
Yeah.
Majority of your adult life. What has it allowed you to do? What do you feel like you being an entrepreneur has allowed you to do, or any freedom or anything like that?
I definitely, it gave me a lot of freedom, a lot of flexibility in a sense of where I'm not tied down to something. My ultimate goal was I already knew that, one day I want to be a wife, I want to be a mom. And I already know that the way I think, I don't want to end up working and being stuck at work. And I kind of looked a little bit more into the future. I started noticing that the way the economy is going, you need two sources of income, right? Let's just be honest here.
I mean, we always speak about that with barbers.
Yeah.
It's like, it's hard for them to scale if they're the only one doing, because everybody just wants to go to Rose.
Yes.
So how do you scale and kind of get out of that and outsource
exactly. That? So it's taught me to like be flexible and be even more flexible. Like, okay, I need to build trust and be comfortable with someone else coming in. Like, I have an assistant now for the first time, and it took me years to even swallow the pill of like, I need someone in here helping me, because this is someone touching my clients and they're used to everything that I do. But now I'm training her on how I do things so everybody feels comfortable and they love it, right? And I'm going to continue to grow and invest into her so she can be at that level of excellence, so she can just be very confident in what she's doing regardless. So that'll bring more flexibility, so then when that time comes when I'm a mom, I can step away, right? And then create that more wealth, because we always talk about how to create wealth, how to bring more assets, how to do this. And then you think about, you start with your bread and butter. You start with your golden goose. I feel like me being a hairstylist was my golden goose, but I don't want to be tied to that. So how do I push that out there to bring more income, as I'm even tapping into other like investment things, which I'm even so happy that I am, because when I think about it, I'm like, wow, Rose, you're investing into real estate. You're investing to here. You're investing to stocks. I would never have be able to do that if I was just trying to keep things by myself, right? And it's good to be educated so I have more flexibility on that, so I'm not burning myself, because burnout is real. And I figured that out like 2 years ago when I got really burnt out. Yeah.
And if I guess someone that say they want to be a stylist, any quick tip you would tell them, like in this day and age, from what you've learned so far, what they can do or how they can get started?
Yes. I would say go to cosmetology school. If they really want to be a certified, held at a certain degree, go to cosmetology school, because it teaches you, and they're kind of changing things here and there, but just having that in your pocket, I think that foundation, I think it goes back to how my parents raised us. Like how y'all said, you went back to school, that was just the standard. Yeah, like, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. Like, at the end of the day, my parents always pushed, at the end of the day, just have that piece of paper in your back pocket. Having that degree will open more doors than you even can imagine, regardless you're not using it now. You can say that you went to school, and what did college teach you? Foundation, how to be responsible, deadlines. So if you want to be a stylist, go to school, because it'll teach you the foundations of how to start being a stylist. And then invest into yourself. A lot of things I learned now was investing. I invested a lot of money in myself, and that means going to classes. I've flown to Atlanta to go take a class. I've took so many classes here in Dallas. I'm always investing into myself because I see the potential, right? So being able to invest into yourself, that too will correlate, right? And then a mentor. I feel like a mentor, those top three things help. And I definitely want to tap into more mentorship, because people still ask me, like, will you be my mentor? So I'm trying to find
the balance of it all.
I'm trying to find the balance of it all, because I don't believe in just giving out information and I'm not being able to follow up with you and being like, so how's things going? How's this? Then I feel like I'm just talking, right? So I'm working on that to get a great like structure to help people who are up and coming in their business, because a lot of people who want to find a mentor, they feel like they have to be here. But you can just be here on the bottom and just have a little bit of structure to get to where you need to be, right? And so, and I wish like I had more of that in my own industry, right? And I feel like a lot of that from someone who has so much knowledge on it, and even on the back end with finances, structure, all that can help someone be really successful.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I don't
This has been amazing.
Any more questions? I think you gave us tons of game on the Morning the Side Hustle podcast. If you could just leave us with one more gem, I know you dropped plenty.
Yes.
One more gem. Actually, you know what? I got a quote that I saw on your page. It
Okay.
said, fear kills more dreams than failure ever will. Mm-hmm. Explain that, and we can wrap it up.
Yes. So throughout this whole conversation, everything was walking off faith. That's basically running away from fear. And I left that on there because I feel like every day I walk into that statement. I feel like fear definitely kills a lot of dreams. You're scared of what's going to happen, what's going to be tomorrow. And that's just all about being an entrepreneur. You have to let go of that fear. And I still have fear for a lot of things, right? And sometimes I try to even rely on God to answer those things to me and not my own understanding. But as long as I know that regardless, we're going to win, right? shake that thing off your shoulder and just keep it moving. I feel like that motto have always sat with me, and I feel like just reading it, you already know, like, okay, let's just cut the BS. Let's just get to it and then figure it out. So definitely that. And I always love slow and steady wins the race. I feel like when you're slow and you're steady, you will always win it. I feel like we're living in such a microwave society. Everybody wants to run right now, hot, ready. No. There's no such thing as overnight success, because people who are overnight, where are they? Just like COVID. Everyone started businesses during COVID. Where are they at now?
Right.
Overnight. So slow and steady, you'll always win the race. You'll take your time. As long as you're just like investing into yourself, that's it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. We'll be sure to put the links for people to be able to reach out to you
Yes.
if they have any questions. Make sure you visit Rose Studio here in Dallas, Texas.
How can the people find you, reach you, if they even want to sign up with your studio?
Yes.
Get their hair done.
Yes. Literally, Rose Studio will take you to our Instagram. It'll take you to our TikTok. It'll take you to our Yelp. It'll take you to our Google. You'll be able to find the link to the website to book a appointment in the salon with me or any of the other stylists that are going to be there. If you want to purchase something online, everything is being done by us, and it's always great. So however they find it,
We'll have the link in the show notes on the YouTube page.
Yes.
Did you leave her a review on Google and Yelp?
I left a review on Google. I absolutely
What about
have.
Yelp?
I don't have Yelp. You have Yelp.
I gotta go make sure I leave a
Yes.
review on her behalf.
Yes.
That's another episode of the More Than a Side Hustle podcast. We will see you next week.
Thank you.
Peace.